Hey, you guys, what's going on? Your girl is coming back with another review. I'm just going to get into it. And I just want to say that it's important about positive thinking, and you do control what's going on at times. Majority of the times you have control. You probably don't have control over the circumstances, but you have control how you're going to respond to it, how you're going to act towards it, and all of these things or whatever, what's in your control. So I get a phone call from my brother, and he this what we do. He was just venting to me, letting me know he was just so frustrated or whatever because what was going on with his car, and the guy was actually supposed to help him with his car. And so the guy was just telling him basically, I could do this much, but I can't go no further because I have to go home and this and that. And I live in the country, and my brother was like in the city. So he was just, and I'm just like, get to the point, because it's like he loves to give you the details and everything, and I'm the same way, but I'm just like, I rush him because he rushes me. And I always say, long story short, but my stories don't never be short, okay? So I was just like, kind of worried at the same time, like, do he need my help or what's going on? And he was like, he just needs to go charge his battery at AutoZone and all this other stuff. And while he was charging the battery, like I say, the guy was like, he didn't have time. So even though he told my brother, well, I'll wait on you, when my brother was charging his battery, the guy ended up leaving him. And my brother was like, this is why I get so upset or whatever. He was like, because it seems like every time I look around or whatever, our own people, if you don't know, you all know I'm a black woman. And he was just going so hard on, like, we never help or whatever. And my brother is always like going through something or whatever and everything else, but he always meets somebody along the way that helps him. And he was like, it's never nobody black or whatever. And I say, you know what, that's not true. I say, you know what? I say, he was like, yes, it is. I say, you know what? Because it started to shift for the negative, and I didn't like that. And I was like, you know what? That's how you feel, and that's what come across to you. He's like, because the other guys or whatever, they're Mexican, they help me and everything else, and they're always kind and everything else. And I get that, because that happens a lot in Texas or whatever, is that you have some kind people, and everybody isn't going to be kind towards you. But I say, but you know what, that's just your way of thinking. I say, that's the way how you gear things. He's like, but that's what happens all the time. If I ever need something or whatever, it's always somebody that's not my color that ends up helping me or whatever. And I just say, you know what, you have to change your mindset or whatever. I say, until you change your mindset or whatever, you're going to always think that. I say, and then it's always going to be certain people that you have in your mind that, oh, they always help, that they're going to always be there. And then the people that you always think that's not there, I was just telling him, like, yeah, you're going to always get that outcome. I said, because that's not for me. And I was like, and I'm your sister, I'm a black woman. I always say, well, that's different, you're my sister. So he was trying to make it sound like it was like a thing, like I was obligated. So I was just like, you know what? I have to get off the phone, and I want to finish my day, because you know how sometimes you could be uplifted, but then you get a negative Nancy or a Debbie Downer, or a negative Nate or whatever you want to say, and a Debbie, a Downer David or whatever, stuff like that. So I was just like, you know what? It just shifts me, and sometimes me and my brother, we could be so connected. Like, how how you be connected with a person that you shift on what they're feeling and everything else. And I started to do that, and I say, no, I'm not gonna put that on me or whatever, and just get upset. Let him get me out of control. So I say, no. Just like I was telling him that he has the power in his mindset, I have power to change my way of thinking about this situation. I was like, you know what? Place in my mind, I was like, you know what? Place some black people around him that he will have to see for himself, that not all this, black people are bad or don't want to help you. And I was just like, place some black people his way and let him see. And this is not, to me, it's not a racial thing for me. I'm just speaking the truth. And I just feel like I have to give you all real stories instead of giving you something that's not real, because that's not what I believe in or whatever. Because this is an actual true story. So I end up getting a call probably like 3, 4 hours later. Totally ignored it. He called me back once again. And I was like, what happened? He was like, you know what? I had to call you to tell you what happened to me. And I said, what happened? He said, well, I was waiting. While I was waiting on my car, and read it, everything else. And he was like, and the guy, the Mexican guy in AutoZone, the manager, he told him that his ride left him and everything else, and he was there to charge his battery. So the guy told him, well, where are you, where's your car located or whatever. And he was like, at the music store. And he was like, okay, I can take you there. So my brother automatically, because he was like, okay, they always help and stuff. And that's the truth. I have a lot of friends that say that or whatever. And I've had Mexican people to help me too, In Texas, it's a lot of us black folks. Well, it's a melting pot here or whatever. So like I said, I ran across some very, very good Samaritans. I ran across from all races. I can't lie about that. But so my brother was like, okay, well, I'm gonna just go to Popeyes. So he was like, he walked to Popeyes because I guess it was like next door, whatever. And he was like, and man, he was like, Jay, I couldn't believe it. The staff was so nice to me. He was like, they greeted me or whatever. He was like, they was fully black, all staff. And he said that he had ordered something and he wanted to get a drink and everything else. And I guess the frustration, what he said when he went in, he told them, do y'all have a distress combo? And they started laughing. He was telling them his story and how he was, feeling and everything else. And so, by them breaking, I guess the ice with him and everything else, he was like, they was very courteous. The manager, he asked for some water. He said the manager gave him a cup of free drink. And he said, man, you know what? My food was on point. Y'all gave great customer service. What is it that I can do for you guys? I'd like to give y'all a good rating. And the guy said, sure, go online, do the survey for us. Gave him the information. My brother had time on his hands anyways to do the survey at that point, at that moment. So he did the survey for them and everything. And the guy gave him a free, he said, you know what, for that, man, I appreciate it. I'm going to give you a combo meal. So he gave him a free combo meal. And what my brother did, because he already ate, the guy that was taking him back to his car, the manager at AutoZone, he gave him the meal. And it was just like he paid it forward. And I say all of that to say that it was amazing. Like if you heard me say that I shifted my mindset, and I was putting in, and it's so funny that I placed in him that not to say in him, but I helped, I believe, shift that he was going to run into some people, some black people that were going to be courteous to him. And who knew that it would happen so fast, because I wasn't expecting it. I was expecting like maybe down the road or whatever, that because I really wanted his mindset to shift for the positive and everything. And I guess he was like, you know what, you're right. There are some good people. He was like, it was a full staff. And I'm just like, okay, duh. But I was really happy for him. And I just say with anything or whatever, if you have somebody that's really going through and they shift that on you, try to turn it into something positive. Have control over your environment, your mindset or whatever. Like, it just really lifted my spirits. I was like, that's very powerful. And I know me and my brother, we close, but I didn't know that I can actually place that in his environment. And it's so funny how things work, because here it is, I'm in a whole nother, I'm like 30 or 40 miles away from him, and we have that connection on the phone, and I spoke it into existence for him to have a positive outcome, and for him to meet people of color, black people and that was going to be kind to him to let him know that there are still some great people. But if I didn't, I felt like he would still be going through the same motion or whatever. Something would have happened, like, yeah, they had a nasty attitude, but it just worked out in my favor and for his favor as well. And it was a good thing. And when it's like, when you're able to receive positive things, you want to pay it forward. And I'm just really excited to know that he didn't save that combo meal for himself, but he was able to give it to another guy. And by those people being hard good workers and everything else, and showing great customer service, because we're big on that. Like, if you show me great customers, I'm calling in. I'd rather call in on something that's positive than something that's negative, because oftentimes you get more calls on negative than the positive. And I just really appreciate that. And you never know how the store feels, or whatever they was going through, but whatever it was, they put it to the side and they gave great customer service. And I appreciate that. Instead of some people who come to work and they have an attitude and they don't leave their personals at home. So yeah, I say all of that to say, you just never know. Just positive thinking is the way, is the new way of thinking to me. If it doesn't cost anything, it doesn't cost you. I mean, it's free to think. So if you're gonna think or you're gonna dream, it's nothing to dream big. It don't cost you. Oh, well, you want that big mansion? Okay, it's gonna be $5.99 for you to have that dream. Your mind is just something. It's just amazing. And the thing that what gets me is that a lot of times things of peace, love, and joy, things that you can't put a price tag on, we take for granted. Having all your fingers or whatever, having gratitude. The more you show gratitude, the more it's given to you. And sometimes, every day is not peaches and cream for me. I live in an imperfect world with you. So, but sometimes if I get a hold of myself, I try to change my way of thinking. Like, okay, here it is. Let's filter this trash out. Let's dump in great things, great positive things. So I just want to hear from you guys. Let me know what your thoughts are. What are some of your techniques and, positive thinking. And, just share with your girl, okay? Because that's what I'm here for. And I would like to do more videos like this. Just let me know. And yeah, so until then, I will holla.